welcome to another edition of Islanders Insider. I'm Stephen King, and we come to you from the locker room today here on the campus of Texas A&M University of Corpus Christi, where we're going to be talking some Islander men's basketball with head coach Willis Wilson, as well as Islanders tennis with director of tennis Steve Moore. Also have a special feature coming up later in the show focusing on men's basketball and their complete coaching staff. These things and more. Right now, though, let's talk to the head coach of Islanders men's basketball, Coach Willis Wilson. How you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
Very, very good. By the time this show airs, you'll have completed your pre-conference schedule. And I've always understood that like these 12 games we're playing this year in pre-conference, they're designed to help you and your staff ultimately prepare your team for conference play. What criteria are you looking for to accomplish or learn about your team during this stretch of the season?
That's a great question. I think in years past, we've always taken an approach that we want to use that pre-conference schedule to gain experience for certain guys, to really build our chemistry and those sorts of things. This year's been a little bit of an unusual year for us, and I think that really starts with the success that we've had the last few years. Scheduling has become a lot more challenging than it's been in the past. The way the calendar's fallen, we've got these windows where we're not playing games, and then these windows where we're doing extensive travel and playing a number of games in a short period of time. And that's really what's made it challenging to kind of figure out some of those things. Ultimately, if you take a 30,000-foot view of the schedule and the way things are laid out, the same goals are in place. We really want to build our bench. We want to build that chemistry, get some valuable experience for our young guys, and be ready to march into January as a team that's really building momentum. We want to play our best basketball late in the season so that we can make that push in March.
And part of the pre-conference scheduling, there's always the travel, sometimes significant travel, and there are the perils of travel. It's not all glitz and glamour by any way, shape, or form. Now, some believe that traveling for college basketball is kind of like living the high life, but flight cancellations, 6'8" guys sitting in middle seats, and in my case, food poisoning. There's some unique challenges. Can you tell some of those unique challenges about the travel that takes place in college basketball?
Well, you've touched on a number of things that we've experienced already this year with team travel, and it's become customary that you go through those things. More and more people are traveling across the globe. At the higher Division I level, more and more teams are taking charters, so they really try to eliminate a lot of those problems. But when you're traveling to the extent that we have this year, I think it teaches you a number of things, but as a head coach, you develop patience, and you know that you always have to have a plan B in mind. I think with the players, it really teaches them about dexterity, the importance of being flexible and kind of rolling with the punches. At the end of the day, the games generally are not going to be canceled. People aren't going to feel sorry for you when you show up because you had a tough slate. And so I think it just builds that toughness, mental toughness in particular. You learn to survive. You learn to survive and hopefully advance, as you go through the process, and then you kind of pick up the pieces on the other side and make out of it what you will. Learn from the mistakes, learn from the success, and keep rolling.
You're also experiencing that unique time of year when it's the Christmas break, and then you have to release the athletes to mom and dad for a little while. Now, what unique challenges present themselves when athletes are released and they kind of break their regimen that they're gotten very accustomed to doing? What concerns do you have when that happens?
Just life concerns.
Sure.
No major concerns. The concerns that I have for our players are the same ones that I have for my kids.
Absolutely.
The holidays, it's an amazing time, and it's full of excitement and full of festivities. And for the young guys, they came to college to play college basketball. The games they watched as high school players on television this time of year, that's them now. And with the holidays and all the festivities, it does bring along stress. Finals bring along stress. The travel, the additional travel issues that you've touched on already with all the more people, the volume of people traveling this time of year. All of those things kind of go into play. And so we've just talked about trying to make good decisions. You have to guard your health, guard your body, and that means watching your diet, hydrating, those kind of things. Do your work in the weight room so that you can be preventative and kind of maintain some of that strength. And then when you're on the basketball court, enjoy it. That's why you're here. Just really get the most out of the experience while you're on the court.
No doubt. Talk about some of the athletes real quick. Redshirt senior Cole Martinez, his accomplishments this year. He came in after sitting last year. We've talked about him briefly before, but what he's doing, the way he's shooting the basketball, over 50% from the three-point line, in the top 20, actually maybe top 15 at certain times of the year in that statistical category in Division I. But just plain and simple, it's about his consistency.
Well, his consistency is not just about shooting the basketball, it's about his overall play. The reason why he's shooting the ball so well is that he values the system. He plays within the system. He plays for others. That can mean a lot of things, and we'd have to go into a lot of detail to really describe that. But I think in Cole's case in particular, here's a guy that understood the value of redshirting a year ago and went into the redshirt situation with the intention of getting everything out of that he could so that he could apply it. He used past experiences to prepare for a future circumstance. The future's here, and he's really made the most of it. I'm just incredibly impressed and really proud of him. The other thing that I think he really gets is he understands the body of work for Islander basketball, knowing that people are going to double team Rashawn Thomas, knowing how important it is to keep other guys involved. You should see all the things that he does off the floor in terms of getting guys in the gym in small groups. I mean, it's just one of those things that a mature guy does, talking to guys about different situations, encouraging guys before and after practice. I mean, it's almost like watching a coach out there when you see him operate the way he does.
What's he planning on being when he grows up?
He's going to be a coach.
That's what he wants to be, no doubt. Coach, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, right now, let's send it off to Shelby Hodges with an Islanders update.
Thanks, Stephen. I'm here at the Dugan Wellness Center on the campus of Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, where Islanders women's basketball defeated Shriner back on December 6th as part of the Holiday Inn North Padre Island Challenge. The team played an aggressive first half to pull away 73-44 and capture their fourth home victory of the season.
Well, I thought we played much more intensely on defense. I thought our rotations were better. I thought we did a really good job, especially as the game wore on and getting through the screens, everybody communicating, guarding on the defensive end.
I think what was working for me the most was getting the ball to my teammates and creating for them before I got started. It's a lot easier on the defensive end when I get started too, because it comes from defense, and then my offense grows as it gets better. So yeah.
Well, I think our freshmen get better every game we play. We moved them around a little bit so that they would be looking at different positions, and sometimes that is a setback for a player. It was not for them tonight. They really flourished in their new roles. I think they just come out to play every night, and they come out with energy, and they expect an awful lot of themselves. And, if they make a mistake, they play through it. And they're getting better and better and better. We can continue to build upon that. We have a chance to be a really good basketball team as the season develops.
Since then, the team has been on a 6-game road trip against high-level schools like A&M and Rice, but they will be back home at the American Bank Center on January 7th to face Northwestern State. Islanders volleyball wrapped their 2016 season at the NCAA tournament on December 2nd when they fell to the number 8-seeded University of Washington.
It's not the result that anybody ever wants. I'm really proud of the confidence that we came out with. I'm proud of the effort that we played with, and I thought we did some really, really good things tonight. I think at times Washington did a great job of putting us in some pretty difficult situations. I think they're a really well coached team, and they're very consistent at what they do. Obviously I think the main takeaway is that we had a tremendous season, and I think we played well tonight. I think it was not our best, but I think we played well, and I'm really proud of the performance that our athletes put in.
Yeah, looking back on my freshman year, this would have never happened. Girls weren't bought in like it was this year. Like, everyone's bought in. Everyone's comes to practice prepared and ready to get better. The vibe is different, and I'm really proud to be part of this team, and I'm proud to be an Islander. So.
Coach Steve Green will be back for his second season of beach volleyball this coming March, with many of the players transitioning to the outdoor game with him. Lastly, Islanders men's basketball set a program record, starting their season off 5-0. After dropping games to Cal Poly and Texas A&M on the road, the team came back to the American Bank Center with a 73-69 win over rival UTSA on December 18th.
Ever since I've been here, the games against UTSA have been nail-biters, regardless of either team's record. It just seems like they've been tight games for some reason. It was a hard game for most of the guys on the floor to get a rhythm, aside from Rashawn and Ehab. Rashawn is a load. He does a great job of passing the ball. He scores the ball one-on-one incredibly effectively, and he's beginning to shoot his mid-range shot with more consistency, and I just think that becomes a really deadly combination, especially for a guy with his skill set who can step away from the basket.
Just staying poised and not rushing too many things. You know, I know defenses are going to try to speed me up and send guys at me, but if I just stay poised and stay strong, then I should be able to handle myself pretty well, and that's what happened today.
It really opens up the floor for me for driving lanes, and especially taking the pressure off Rashawn. I had to step up for my team.
I think when Rashawn went to the bench, they felt like they had an advantage. He did a great job of pressuring the rim, but so much of what he was able to manufacture at the rim was a result of defense.
The team will not be back home until January 7th when they face Northwestern State as part of an Islanders basketball doubleheader. When we return, Stephen King will be joined by Steve Moore, the director of Islanders tennis. More to come on Islanders Insider.
Evans Glass Service for all of your auto, residential, and commercial glass needs. We offer tinting for the windows on your vehicle and home, and we also service commercial properties, block the heat, and protect your interior from harmful UV rays. Plus, improve the style and privacy of your car, home, or office, glass replacement or repair, and window tinting. Free estimates, and we will come to you 24 hours a day. Evans Glass, where we specialize in service.
At Navy Army, we're proud of our military roots, but you don't have to be in the military to be proud of where you bank. If you live in South Texas, chances are you can join. Each year, we welcome thousands of new members looking for a better way of banking. So carry that card with confidence, because we take your financial success seriously. At Navy Army Community Credit Union. Does your bank do that?
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we're going to be talking tennis with the director of tennis here at Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, Coach Steve Moore. Coach,
great to see you.
Good seeing you. Good to see you as well. Last season, first off, congratulations again. You earned your unprecedented 10th Southern Conference Coach of the Year honor after your women went undefeated in the regular season, going 21-0, and ultimately advancing to the NCAA championships, where they lost their first match of the year to the eventual champions, the Stanford Cardinals. Okay, big scoop time. What's the secret to your success? Kind of a big answer, I know. Big question, but
well, our success, but it's high character players and a real commitment to a very specific system. We overemphasize high character players. We overemphasize extreme hard work. We overemphasize the team. We overemphasize discipline. And those are kind of cliche things. It's really doing it, that putting those things into action. I tell the players almost every week, there's 4 things that you can be great at, that you can control. Most people go their whole life without being truly great at anything. And you can be great at 4 things you can control. You can be a great hard worker. You can be a great competitor. You can be a great teammate / encourager. And you can be great at your body management choices. What you put in your body, what you eat, the way you stretch, your rest, your hydration, bringing almonds with you to class so you're constantly feeding the muscle. And over the years, we've kind of created a culture where our recruiting contacts, and that's another thing, is our recruiting contacts kind of know who we are,
sure,
and who to send us and who we are not. And I think that, you know, what it says up on the court's hardcore players, high character teammates only. Only the hardcore players want to come.
I understand. I mean, it has been quite a successful formula. not only you're the director of tennis here at Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, but overseeing both men's and women's tennis. But you also have responsibilities with the NCAA and the ITA. Now, what committees are you working on, and why do you find it important to be involved with the governing bodies of college tennis?
That's a great question. My mentors did it. I saw Tim Cass at Texas A&M really shape in an incredibly positive way college tennis. And when I see matches on TV and with huge crowds and lots of social media for tennis, I still thank Tim Cass, Matt Knoll, Michael Sinner, Tim Siegel. These guys are always aggressively pushing that, and those were a lot of my mentors. And so I feel like you kind of owe it. When they asked me to be on that 12-member NCAA committee, I knew it was a ton of work. I would say probably an extra 5-6 hours a week. But it was a chance to shape college tennis. Last year we had more matches on national TV than ever. 77 matches were televised last year. There will be more this year. It looks like the United States Tennis Association is considering televising the finals of the Southland Conference tennis. So these things matter. They're not just general altruism. They really affect the student athlete in an incredibly positive way.
Let's talk about your team a bit here. Now, you had a pretty big shakeup in the lineups this past year. You lost 3 key men, 2 key women, but transitioning the lineup isn't unusual. It's quite normal in college sports in general. But what are the challenges when you're looking to replace key leaders and contributors?
Number one, that you mentor and develop the current players for the next one up. We thought that when we lost Sandrita and Stefania, who were just incredible champion players and leaders, we'd have a huge void. Up step Miter and Celia. Then now Miter and Celia leave. Up needs to step Hortense and Carrie and Judith. So it's been a passing of the baton from one great leader to the next. Laurent, Mike Pavlov leaves, in comes Zunino. Zunino leaves, in comes Laurent. Laurent leaves, in comes James Langford. James Langford leaves, in comes Aurelian, in comes Peter Nagy. And and it's really a lot more than just me. It's the players mentoring the player under them, sometimes from overseas, sometimes from their job at a bank or a sales firm.
Well, one last thing before we could free that one player you have coming in this year who's stepping up to be a leader, senior transfer at Biak, Akin Shimoyan.
Yeah.
Interesting story, just because he came from a program that got shut down, but he was someone who was familiar with our program.
I love that guy. I mean, he is one of the most positive, high character young men I've ever coached. My only sadness is that we will only get him 1 year, but he's been a tremendous infusion, perfect character guy. I knew he would be because he came from a coach who's one of my best friends and shares those values.
Well, I'll tell you, Coach, we're looking forward to a great year. You've had tremendous success. Congratulations on your extension of your contract. And
thank you.
Look forward to seeing many more years of Islanders tennis with Steve Moore. When we come back, wrapping things up here on Islanders Insider. Stay with us.
Probably ought to need to look at the annuity program too. I'm a CPA. I love helping people. I'm Patricia Quintana Pro, and I'm a tax partner with BKD San Antonio. Life at Texas A&M Corpus Christi was busy. I was very focused. I was a working student. I went back to Texas A&M Corpus Christi to obtain my master's because it provided value and because I really love the atmosphere at the university. I love the way the teachers were involved in our careers and in our futures. When it comes to business management and accounting, Texas A&M Corpus Christi has what you need.
The Southland Conference.
4,200 student athletes
from across the country
and around the world, representing 13 member institutions
from Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana,
excelling in 17 NCAA Division I sports,
in the classroom, and in our communities.
We are Southland Strong.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. On this week's Krista Spahn Health System feature segment, we focus in on the Islanders men's basketball coaching staff. Check it out.
I mean, they're really knowledgeable about the game, and that shows with how they kind of treat us throughout the year. They do a good job of keeping us healthy and not overdoing it in practice to a point where you really break your bodies down now instead of in March. So they do a good job of preparing us for games and keeping us fresh, so that way later on in the season we have our legs and our bodies are good. I mean, he's really a father figure to all of us. His meetings with us, one-on-one meetings, and we'll talk about everything, not just basketball. It'll start with basketball and then it kind of go into all other points of life.
Coach Wilson, I would describe him really as a player's coach, but at the same time, I think as a parent, he's going to give guys what they need before he gives them what they want. And if at the end of the day he can give them what they want also, he will.
The job he's done here is simply remarkable. When he came in and had to clean house, but to go out and get the players we got and to overcome those obstacles and grinding for success, and his ability to change his coaching style, his philosophies over the last 4 years has simply been amazing, and our players have embraced that, our coaching staff has embraced that. It's the reason we're successful today is due to him.
He's a great coach and he's a great teacher of young men. He's helped me so much, kind of guide me through, I don't want to call it manhood, but I guess, when you get to college, you're first time by yourself. So, he's really caring, he looks out for other people, and he wants what's best for you, not just at the expense of being a good basketball team.
Coach, he's a great basketball mind. I've actually known him for quite a while, since I was like 6 or 7, so. To be working for him was a little different at first, but a great basketball mind. I'm learning a lot from him and enjoying it.
Well, Coach Danoff has got a tremendous amount of experience. I go into his office quite often to just talk about basketball, throw things off him. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And he's got great ideas. He's got a really, really good relationship with the players and the staff as well.
Coach D's been my guy all the way since I got here. So he's kind of my go-to guy. Tell him everything, talk about everything. So he's helped me along with Coach Deb the most since I've gotten here.
He thinks he's the funniest coach on the team. He has all these little corny jokes that he makes all the time, and some of them are funny, but some of them are like, come on, man. But he's my personal check-in coach with the guards, and so he does a good job of making sure that we're on track with everything that we're doing, whether it's school, your social life, your outside life, or obviously the basketball. We watch film with him pretty much every day. He makes it a point to constantly try and be in our ear about things we can get better at.
We've known Terry since he was 5 years old and coming to camp when we were at Rice. So I just think he brings an energy and a passion. He relates so well to our players. Our players come to him all the time.
He's a young guy who works extremely hard. He knows he has to learn. He's eager, he asks questions, and he continues to grow every day, and you see that each day as you work with him.
Coach Gross he's one of a kind. Everybody loves him though. He's got a special, vibe, I guess, about him that draws people to him.
Marty is an old school guy when it comes to everything from coaching to his personal life to everything he does. And he is so knowledgeable. He's probably got more experience than anyone else, maybe a couple of us combined on the staff. Everything goes back to how he was taught young and the fundamentals, the basics, and that's his approach to everything.
My office right next to him, I can ask him for anything. He's very helpful. I know he's going to be here early and he'll usually be here too late.
All the coaches on our staff pretty much carry the same type of role. They all are involved in scouting. They're all involved in the recruiting. They're all involved in the on-floor aspects and the relations with the team. So there isn't a whole lot of shifting or someone's in charge of one thing or someone's in charge of another, but everybody contributes to both sides of the ball at all times, and everybody chips in and does their part and really works well together and helps each other out when assistance is needed.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. Now let's take a look at what's coming up next in Islanders athletics. Islanders tennis will host their first event of the spring season on January 31st against Prairie View A&M on campus at the Thomas J. Henry Tennis Center. The Islanders track and field team will start their season on the road at the A&M Invite on January 13th and at Houston from the 27th through the 28th. Check out GoIslanders.com for the results of both of those events. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Shelby. Also, thank you to Coach Willis Wilson and Coach Steve Moore for joining us here in the locker room today. And most importantly, thank you for tuning in. For everybody here at the Islanders Digital Network and the Islanders broadcast crew, you've been watching Islanders Insider. Good day.
My family has been growing crops here since the late 1800s.
We're Texas farmers through and through, and that's why we love H-E-B. They've been supporting local farms like ours for generations.
They buy more of our corn than anyone else in Texas.
Over 10 million pounds annually, and they use it to make great products like H-E-B corn chips.
So when you try them, you're eating a little piece of Texas.
We're the Sawed-Off family, and this is the locally grown department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
Healthcare never sleeps. It's constantly changing.
Hello.
It's not a desk job. I'm on my feet all day.
It's Trevor 3 East.
I'm Trevor Bonzer, and I'm a nurse manager at Christus Spawn Shoreline. The faculty at A&M Corpus Christi, you see the passion in their teaching. They will challenge you, and they will motivate you. They want you to succeed.
97% of A&M Corpus Christi graduates will be working or in graduate school upon graduation. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Discover your island. Visit us today at tour.tamucc.edu.